everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today I have with me Mr. Elijah Ivry. He is an author, musician. He has his own, two podcasts. He's a very bold man. He has two podcasts, The Mind of Ivory and Southern Frame of Mind.
The Southern Frame of Mind podcast.
All righty. So he has two podcasts and he's doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So I can't wait to talk to him about some of the things that they toss around on their podcast, plus some other things. But first and foremost, because I'm from the South as well, I got manners. Welcome to the show. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much for having me on.
All righty. Elijah, many religious books have Elijah as a prophet and a miracle worker. So that's a name with a lot of weight. Your parents, gave you that name and said, no pressure, but pressure, right?
Yeah, it was, my dad always tell me, him and my mom, they were praying, I guess about me before I was born and trying to figure out a name. And they just said that, my dad told me that God gave me that name. And from then on, I always just didn't want to just live under somebody else's name, make my own path, but understand what my purpose is. So that's what I've been trying to do.
All righty. I see you are, because I was checking out some of the Instagram lives, and that's kind of like the first direction I want to go today, because the two of you, I guess it's the Southern Frame of Mind podcast.
Yeah, Southern Frame of Mind podcast.
The two of you had mentioned a couple of things, and, I've kind of been heavily thinking about them, but I kind of want to talk about them with a little bit of a twist today. So on your Instagram live, the two of you were talking about, in various pieces of it, this concept of attention seeking and accountability. And then you guys had briefly touched on the matter of a celebrity had made her OnlyFans account, and there was some shaming that came from it. So I want to kind of go that direction, but with a little twist. So let me give you the setup for this, and then I'll ask your input. I'm right in the middle of two generations. So when I was a little girl, there was this hippie generation, and it was all about drugs and, just casual free sex with whoever, whenever. And now I'm in a season where I see a younger generation, kind of the same thing. It's all about drugs, and I got options. I can have sex with whoever I want to. Now the difference with the hippie generation was it tended to be mostly like white people, and it was about peace and love, and had more of a spiritual kind of element to it. But today the ideology seems to be pushed by the entertainment industry and this YOLO, and you only live once. And it seems to be this generation is much more angry and selfish with their mindset. But going back to the hippie generation, what I do recall is, if you go to any of them now who went through the hippie generation, they kind of outgrew it. They bought homes in the suburbs, became parents, got the minivan, they're suit and tie now. And they changed their whole life around, their mindset around. I'm wondering if you see today's generation getting tired of what they're doing now. Do you think it's going to shift? Do you think it's going to change? Or this whole little, I got options and it's about me or whatever, is going to just continue to move forward?
I feel that in today's society, we have people who they want to see better, but they feel that, okay, if I make a change, then the people who I have in my corner, are they going to stray away from me? And I think acceptance is a huge reason to why we have so many people who just stay stuck in their same mode. They can be much better than what they are, but they choose to lower themselves to make somebody else comfortable. So it's like, I look at it as, if you want to be the leader, it comes with accountability, but having just life being born comes with accountability. As you get older, there's going to be rules. You're going to have rules in the house. You're going to have rules outside of the house. You're going to have laws you got to abide by. And I just think that people, it's a lot of people who are they want to feel like their presence is known, but also too, they don't want to get too much in a position to where now people are expecting them to give them all the answers to everything. So now people, okay, well, you did something wrong now. and I followed you, so I can blame it all on you. So nobody wants to carry that burden, I feel.
Okay. Okay. So nobody wants to. It would seem to me that this generation, it's kind of a, you don't have firm footing to stand on if nobody wants to step out in the front and be the leaders and, like, stand on principle and morals and values. It just seems like people are just, whatever way the wind goes, we're going to go this way, or whatever we I mean, it just seems like you have a whole bunch of people who are emotionally unfulfilled when you don't have a platform, a foundation that you're standing firm on.
Yeah, that's correct. You have to have a solid foundation. You can't go into any type of business, any type of relationship and say, hey, let's kind of halfway sometimes kind of be on the same page, because you're in the back of your mind, okay, this could last. But then on the other part, it's like, if it doesn't last, I'm comfortable with it because I got options. And that's where the options part play into it. It's okay to have options, but it's also okay to not play into temptation. Because the thing about temptation is, you have us as we're human beings, but also we can have that physical want for something. But the mental part is you need to have a strong mind. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a strong mind and your flesh consumes you, you're willing to do a lot, you know what I'm saying, to get that certain feeling, satisfied. And then once it's satisfied, you're like, oh, I need to get back into reality. What am I doing? Then, oh, I want another high again. It doesn't even have to be
Mm-hmm.
love. A person you can be in a relationship with, or just friends, they give you that high, like, oh, I'm on this roller coaster. And then when you come down, you're like, what am I doing? So it's just the same cycle that we see a lot of people go through.
Okay. Now, you just touched on something that I wanted to ask you. I was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago with a young lady. She was about 22, and we were talking about that performance that Cardi B and Megan the Stallion had did on stage,
Hmm.
and she's a big Cardi B. This young lady, she's a big Cardi B fan, but she was, she idolizes them, and she was, praising the performance. And I was saying to her, I mean, I don't know if a guy, I mean, I understand that guys are visual, but I don't think that a guy would look at that performance and say, this is the type of woman that I want to make wifey, that I want to take home to meet my mother. And she was like, Lana, you're so outdated. These are the type of women that guys like. So, and you be honest with me, I'm willing to be wrong. Um,
Hmm.
is that the type of woman today guys are looking for?
I would say this: you have a lot of people who do feel comfortable with the person that they want being idolized by a lot of different people. And the big push right now is just be yourself. Being free is empowerment. Accepting us or accepting people as they are is empowerment. So I feel that everybody wants to have a voice, which is fine, but you got to understand too the people that are affected by that. You could be making millions off of something that you wouldn't have your daughter do,
Mm,
and then everybody else's daughter, nieces, and everything that, like, now they're dealing with the vitriol of it. Not
mm-hmm,
the respect, the scheming, just taking advantage of men. And then it can be on the flip side with with male, rappers, in entertainment, or just people they see, and even in their neighborhood that could be doing things illegal. Like, oh, I want to do it that way. I
mm-hmm,
don't really want to go about it the right way. And as far as with Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion specifically, I feel like they are very talented and gifted women. But I also too, you have a responsibility, because if you're going to be doing that in that realm, and then they will push you to talk about something on a political scale, I can't really, I'm trying to distinguish the two, but you can't. I don't see it how you could speak for somebody, and then the middle of that, your biggest song is about how great your body
wow,
is. So
wow.
it's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very confusing. So it's just some people they sometimes like low hanging fruit, and that is not putting any
Good
um
point, good
ill
point.
will towards them. I'm just saying that, you know, it's like, really, what's the definition of an upstanding woman? What's the definition of an upstanding man? Oh, if he got a job, that's enough for me. For some people, that's just enough. And I think sometimes it might be hard for people like myself or you know what I'm saying, to really understand, because we possibly, of course, we want more just in life general. And some people are okay with just the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel honestly that and living in this world, I don't want just the crumbs of the earth. I want a, a huge slice of success, but also be able to share that with other people the right way and still work to better myself.
Gotcha, gotcha. Good point. And I'm glad to see that mindset in you because it's just very concerning. Sometimes we get caught up into looking at Well, I think maybe the younger generation is more prone to it, looking at celebrities and thinking that that's the way to be. And I'm thinking, some of us that are living in regular lives, doing 9 to 5s or whatever, these are not mothers of our children or fathers of our children. That lifestyle is just for the media, but some people are actually trying to take that to their home life, and it's unrealistic to me. Maybe me.
Yeah. I mean, if you want some, it's the irony of it all is, oh, I got me somebody that's holding me down. And then months or weeks later, this person did this to me. Well, you got with that person because you knew what they were capable. And that's, I think, another issue in society. You're with somebody because of their potential, but you also know what they're capable of doing and maybe in the wrong way. So, but you
Mm,
get the benefit of the doubt. Certain people get the benefit of the doubt, maybe because they have certain equity, they have a certain, fame about them that, okay, well, I can get around this person, I can manipulate a position for myself. So even if they do me wrong, I can still make something on the back end from other people wanting to be around me, or other guys want to be with me, or vice versa, with other women wanting to be with you. So it's like a circus when we step outside and you see all different people. You see clowns, you see just people just doing any and everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, they're gifted, but they're gifted at doing things that, is it really applicable to a better lifestyle, or is just something fun for the moment? You know?
gotcha, gotcha. Now let's talk a little bit about these people that we ebb and flow with as we walk through life. Um, Going through your Instagram, I see that you were in the military previously.
That's correct.
How long were you in the military for?
I was in the military 5 years.
Okay, so you went into the military right after high school, or was there some time span?
So my senior year, I was signed up to go into the military. So I had a recruiter come to my house. We did the practice ASVAB, and then from there, I went through, the certain steps they had, so that way you can be able to go and have your date set for a boot camp, and then that happened. So I want to say around the beginning of May, probably late April, I already knew what my date was that I would be shipping off to go into basic training. So from there, I just was waiting to graduate.
Okay. Now I'm curious because I experienced the military myself. My dad was in the military, so I'm a Air Force brat. But your perspective, when you left to go into the military, and you know the military, the beautiful thing about the military is it allows you exposure to different places. You get to see the world. I'm wondering when you got out of the military and if you came back home, did you notice a difference in your mindset and personal growth versus maybe people you went to school who had never left?
I noticed that I wouldn't want to say when I first came back, because it took up to this point where I'm at right now. It took a long time for my confidence, certain things about myself that it just you go through certain trials and you either come out stronger or you see how weak you really were. And that was something I really faced strongly. So I would come back home and I would see certain people and they would be doing the same thing. Or some people, they're comfortable where they're at. So it's like, well, I don't want to change. I don't want to travel. I don't want to step outside of what I know. I don't want to leave home. And I can understand that. But for myself, it's, when you're on social media a lot, you're complaining about what you don't have, but you're not willing to give yourself an opportunity to go chase your dream. You'll just always be sleeping. So I just wanted to make sure that when I wake up is, to be able to see the best in myself, even if it's one thing I did better today than I did yesterday.
Okay. What are some core concepts you think you take away from the military that the military taught you?
Well, military will teach you structure, for sure, accountability, also being able to adapt with others who you could have a lot of differences from, because at the same time, you all are working to protect this country.
Mm-hmm.
So we may not like this person from a political standpoint, from a religious standpoint, but on that battlefield, that's your brother, that's your sister. You're looking out for them.
Yeah.
You have people who they only get in there for their own, purposes, whether it's go to school or whatever the case may be. They just want to get away from, where they were staying. God, I can understand that. But, in the military, it will teach you structure. It will teach you how to adapt to certain situations, a situational awareness. And I feel like that really helps out. You can utilize that in everyday life.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, as you transition from military life and coming back to civilian life, uh, what advice would you give to just us regular civilians? Like, okay, we need to help you adjust back into the regular world. Is there something you wish the civilians knew about military life?
I would say as far as with adjusting back into, and it also depends on where you're stationed at, what was your, your job. But really when somebody's, transitioning out the military, you have to understand that they're used to pinpoint accuracy on a lot of things. It's not, I don't really feel like doing this today. Now you can have that, but there's certain places you can get stationed at where they're like, hey, we're not cutting no slack. It's just like this, you have certain uniform inspections. You have certain things that should keep you in top notch, shape. And just from a mental standpoint, progressive standpoint, in the workplace, and of course physical. And I think when you come out and you transition to a regular job, you're like, okay, why are you not doing this? You need to be doing
Yeah.
your part. Like, did you check that out? How come you're submitting this, or how come you're saying this is okay? You didn't even check it out. So I feel like you're more proactive to make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. And sometimes like people may have a hard understand, like why you so mad, like, or just because some people come from the military, they still have that military mindset. And if
Mm-hmm.
you've been around somebody in the military, you understand like why dad's so grumpy? Did he just retire? Why he ain't happy? Like if you got a brother or sibling, like what's up with him? He think he better or whatever. Like it's like no, you're used to a standard of living, used to certain structure. So when you get around something that's broken or something that's off, it rubs you the wrong way, like any type of PTSD would.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, us civilians, we too lazy. We don't move fast enough. We let broken stuff stay broke, and like I said, me being a Air Force brat, I know. Like, look, this is structure. There's discipline. You need to take accountability, and so sometimes it's a whole little toxic mix when you come back to
Yeah.
civilian world. Like, yeah,
And I do want to add this though, even when you're transitioning as far as from the military on the military side, you have to understand too, the people that you might be up in arms about, or you might say they too slow, or they should go into the military because they're not doing things the way you feel like they should be doing. You gotta understand that you was in there to protect what I'm saying, the civilians. So
mm-hmm.
as you transition, now you become civilian. You're a veteran, but you're back to civilian life. So you can't look down on them because they haven't been where you've been at, went through the struggles you went through. You decided to sign up for that. They didn't,
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, you should go do that. Whoever told you, if you want to do it on your own, that's your decision. Just like their decision was, hey, I want to work this job, or I want to do this. I don't want to go to the military. There's other options for me. So you don't want to look down on either way it goes. If you're a civilian, like, oh, I want to go into the military, they got to do this and that. And then the military said, oh, well, I don't want to just be somebody that's just working a 9 to 5. So there's different layers to it, but respect has to go on both ends of it.
Gotcha. Understood. Understood. Now, I mentioned in the opening that you were a musician. Did you learn music in the military, or was that before you even went?
So as far as with music, I have a lot of family members on both sides of my family that, they're talented as far as just writing songs, playing instruments, just creating in general. So a lot of that's been passed down. And for myself, I would say it probably because at an early age, I really wasn't doing a lot of dancing. I was always writing. That was something that was always in me as far as with writing. I wasn't doing a lot of writing songs, but I would just like write poems and things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. Or and so I was doing that a lot. But I would say around middle school, that's when it kind of transitioned to me tapping in more to that from what I was seeing in the entertainment room. I seen people close to my age doing it. So I was like, this is something I could possibly do. And then from there, it just kind of blossomed.
So you play instruments, or you just
So as far as with playing instruments, when I was in middle school, I played the tenor sax, and I do like playing the guitar, acoustic or just rather electric guitar. But I haven't really got really great at it. I'm okay with it, but it's something I really like. And besides that, just of course writing music.
I saw quite a few of your clips. You're dancing, right? and one of them, I saw you coming out of a doorway. Now, keep in mind, I'm a little lady. I'm 5'3" and some change. So, I pay attention. So I saw you coming out the door. I said, "Ooh, that's a tall one there. How tall are you?"
So I'm around like 6'2".
Yeah, okay, because I saw you kind of had the sleeve. I said, okay, he seems pretty tall. But yeah, I said, okay, he's got some moves there. All righty. And you like my frame, my era of music too, it seems like. Your parents
Yes,
were
yeah,
go
that's correct. So I had an aunt, my aunt Esther. She always had the Motown
mm,
anthology. She would always have music, so I was always listening to music. I got family, like I said, family that they've been in bands. My father, he wrote songs. My grandmother, she's of course written music, and my mother, she's also a writer as well. So it's just so many different parallels that just come together, and
gotcha.
and it's just passed down to me. Just like all the other relatives that get passed down to them. So it just feels really great to have that. Just
That
because
music
music,
connection.
I feel like music is the extension cord that connects us all.
That's right.
And what I try to do is I like history. I'm into history and of course nature, but I like to go into the crates to figure out, why does this certain sound, why does these certain words, this ballad make us feel this way every time we hear it? Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's Barry White, whether it's The Temptation, whether it's something from BB and CC, just certain songs in any type of music genre, it makes you feel a certain way. Just like, oh, I remember when I was a kid, I used to get ice cream and this used to come on. This was a Skate Ring song.
Mm.
So brings good feelings.
Now I know you've been around some people my age because you said the crates and people today do not know anything about pulling music out of crates. That's vinyl. That's some vinyl records right there. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Oh, you're a baby. Oh my God, I could have changed your diapers. Okay. Anyways, so let me segue because I want to make sure I get into all of the wonderful stuff you're doing. We talked about the music.
I do want to say real quick, if it's okay, I do want to say real quick, I have a friend, Anthony Green Jr. He's also on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, Anthony Green, and Instagram, Boy Poetic _. I just want to plug that real quick. But he is somebody who also heavily into music as far as, having just the classic vinyls. Just, he's just a connoisseur of music. So I've learned a lot from him as well. So I want to give him that shout out.
I like I said, I was on your Instagram, so I saw the interview you did with Anthony, and he was talking about quite a few things, and I was really impressed because I'm always impressed with younger people who have a very old soul and a very old mindset. And it seemed like from listening to two of you talk, it seems like the both of you were those types of gentlemen. So I was very, very impressed with the two of you. So kudos to you. Now, that kind of brings me to the next question that I have, and that's about one of your podcasts. It's called The Southern Frame of Mind. And that suggests that there's a difference between the Southern mindset, which Anthony, I think I recall him being in South Carolina.
Well, so it's Kevin Moffitt, and me and Kevin Moffitt, we host the Southern Frame of Mind podcast. And
Okay.
but yeah, Anthony is
And,
from
and,
South
and
Carolina.
you said you were from Georgia originally,
Georgia,
right? And
that's correct.
Kevin is where?
South Carolina.
He's from where?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
Mhm.
So the Southern frame of mind, it seems like there's a lot of people around you from the South here. So, and I'm getting the impression that y'all feel that the Southern frame of mind is different from other people's per se.
Well, so the concept was that me and Kevin are both from the South, but also too we've traveled,
Mm-hmm.
and to the core of us, we do have a Southern soul. But what we wanted to incorporate with that title was letting people know, yeah, we have a Southern frame of mind, no matter where we go at. But also, too, we want to incorporate other things that have come up that we've, learned, and other things that we've incorporated over time. And we're, and it's just basically giving kudos and paying homage to where we're from. You know what I'm saying? From, just because I'm from Georgia, I'm from a place called Warner Robins, Georgia. And like I said, Kevin, he's from South Carolina. So it's just basically paying homage to where we're from, but also letting people know too where we're from is not dictating the other, everybody else that we're able to, be in contact with or talk about or have new experiences from other locations we've been at. We were
Mhm.
just telling you our mindset, is has cultivated from a southern frame of mind.
Mhm. So, if you had to say one thing, just one thing that you think is different about a southern mindset versus maybe a northern or a western or whatever, what would you think it would be?
Well, okay, I could do it like this. Okay, so I would say the South, in contraction to the North. The North, from people I've talked to and been around, sometimes you have people who look at the South as like, it's slower tempo, it's mild, it's a lot of land that you can just be to yourself. And we look up at the North, a good majority of us is just so congested. The tree, where the trees at? I mean, you look around for that, where are they at? It's everything so fast paced. And in the South, we have people who can be disrespectful. Oh, you from the South, like you must be like a little, I know some people down there a little slow or whatever like that. No matter where you at, you can still be intelligent. If you
Mm-hmm.
grew up a certain way to where everything was slower, more calmer paced, that's just what that is. But you can go anywhere and adapt, because if you have the mindset and the willpower, you can do that. And when it comes to California, I think the South and I guess the West Coast. I haven't been on the West Coast, but I would say California particularly. I know a lot of people say it's more chill, relaxed in certain areas. And anybody that's been on that side, they can contest. They can probably contest to that, and or attest to that. And I know there's like that link where it's like the South and the West. I know a lot of people from California. They got people that's in Georgia and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why even in the late '90s with the music, you would have Southern artists. They would do songs with like artists from the West Coast. So it was always kind of that link. I don't think there's besides I guess all the beaches and and it just everything that's in I guess California specifically. I don't really see too much of a huge difference, because it kind of I guess depending on the area, it's all kind of I think kind of the same really. More just kind of everybody just more chill, relax on that front. I know there's much things to do. You got Hollywood and all that, but on the front of everybody just chill, relax, calm, go with the flow. I think that's just kind of how that is with
Okay.
that
Yeah, with
Midwest.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Midwest.
And as far as Midwest, I know Midwest is cold. It's and I think Midwest is somewhat similar to the South as well. With the as far as the crops, farmers, the blue collar type of lifestyle. So I think that's kind of similar. But like I say, it's just where we're from and just paying homage to it overall.
Yes, everywhere you mentioned, especially for Black folks, we all migrated from the South to these various areas. So a lot of times when you see Black communities like on the West Coast or the Midwest, or even in New York, their great grandmother or their grandmothers are still down in the South somewhere. So that the connection, the cords are all still tied there. But there is some sort of city mindset that's kind of been incorporated in there. Um, Curious, your co-host of the Southern Frame of Mind, and also Anthony. You guys met in the military, or how did you guys connect?
So Kevin Moffitt, who's co-host of Southern Frame of Mind podcast, he was my mentor when I first got into the military.
Okay.
And Anthony was already in the military. Well, I got stationed at the same place they were at.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and me and Anthony, we became friends not too long after, and me and Kevin, because he was my mentor, he showed me around, and we became cool just pretty much right off the bat.
Okay. All right. I didn't. I mean, it's been so long since I remember my dad telling me the stories of the military. I didn't know that they set you guys up with mentors now when you go in. I don't know if that's a. It seems like a new concept to me.
Well, what they have is they have people who will, it's like because you get to in the in doctrination as far as like you going around the command, you meeting certain people, they're showing you kind of where to go, the ins and out, and it helps out because besides that you could possibly be lost if you, especially if you've never been on a ship or you never just been at a command. Okay, who would I check in with? Where do I go? So it just helps that out because like I say, you're in the military, so they expect for you to have a certain, structure, certain bearing. So if you're going around certain people and you're still fresh out and you're like, oh, I didn't know, or whatever like that, they don't want to have that to be the excuse. So they partner you up with somebody that should have enough knowledge to get you around, get you the signatures you need,
I see. I see.
yeah, and then go from there.
Okay, I see. Now I want to talk about your books because I mentioned that briefly that you were author, and I want to make sure I get everything in, all the wonderful stuff that you're doing. So let me see here. You've got three books: Scale and Debate, Tears, and then Empty Room. Is that, did I get them all?
That's correct.
So when did you start writing? Well, you said you were younger, but I mean, what made you decide to put something out?
So I've always been writing, from my on my Facebook and even with my Instagram. I always put out, quotes, just things if I'm, seeing the world. And I've had a lot of people who have just been proud of the things I post, and it makes me feel good because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, that means I'm connecting with other people in the world. But also Anthony Green, that's why he's very, special, and I appreciate him a lot because he always told me because he was writing books, for I think he started around I want to say 2016 or maybe probably before that, but he's always just been writing. And he would tell me, hey, you should get certain things published. You should, get yourself out there. You got some great content. I was telling me, yeah, I'll do it. And I just pretty much was just kind of doing things on my time. I was like, eventually I'll do it. I'll do it. And so finally, once I transitioned out the military, I put the time into it. And also, I want to give a special thank you to my mom because she told me about this professor she had named Dr. Clarendon. And she told me, yeah, he published books, he has his own company. And I told her, okay, I'll reach out to him. And we started conversations, and he kind of told me the concept, and I started writing the first book, which is as a Scale and Debate. And from there, now we're this is gonna be, I'm just dropping this exclusively, but I work the fourth one is already finished, what I'm saying? Just so when people read it, they watch this, they go, it's the fourth one is finished. So that will be out soon. But
Awesome.
and it's been a blessing. So just having Anthony, my mom, and then Dr. Clarendon is definitely been a blessing. And
Okay.
just from there, just kept moving.
All righty. So Elijah, the prophet and the miracle worker. Where are we going from here? What's on the pipeline besides the fourth
Well,
book?
besides the fourth book, I'm looking at going to certain locations in DMV area, which is, for those who don't know, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And so I'm looking at, I have two songs that I want to shoot in multiple locations. I'm also looking at having certain people incorporate in the video as well. The one video I want to do is called High Alert, and it's in just the synopsis of that is more so about there's so much is going on around us. Tempers at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
People, they can see something which should be perceived as the truth. It should be plain as day, but it's a mirror to where it's like, oh, that's not what it is. It's something else. You know what I'm saying? So you continuously spin in the mirror, hoping you get a different image, but it's gonna be the same image.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, in the song, I'm speaking about certain people who have either died or been led astray by certain things that have plagued this earth. So it's a very important song, I feel, that's needed, for the world. And I'm just, continue shooting music videos, continue writing. Of course, I appreciate being on this platform. It means a lot, and for anybody that watches this, I'm going to let y'all know, never give up on yourself and never feel that something you put out isn't received by somebody. People may not say nothing, but it could be helping them. They also could say, you know what, I want to reach out. I want to find this person because this person is saying something that connects with me. And, I posted I want to say it had to be the interview with Anthony Green. And, I put certain hashtags in there, and that's how you were able to locate me. And I really
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. It definitely means a lot because I'm always, doing interviews or trying to have conversations with other people. But to be interviewed, to get my mindset out there, it feels great to have somebody who wants to incorporate that in their show.
Yeah, it's always good to get around people with varying mindsets, the same mindsets, because that's how you grow when you're exposed to different people and personalities and, what they might be thinking. It allows you to expand your mind. So, that's the beauty of this life that we live. And I want to mention real quick, because you said that you were in Virginia and you were you're in the process of expanding the music stuff and doing your video and everything. I think a lot of people don't know that Virginia is like this little quiet gem when it comes to the music industry and producing some very, very talented artists out. Virginia has a little is an unknown secret. right?
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like a pipeline. There's a lot of artists who originate out of the Virginia, DC, Maryland area, and they may go on to different places. But most of them, they will say, "Hey, I'm from. This is where I'm from. Whether it's from Virginia, DC, wherever, like that." And a lot of these artists, they're still out today. You have super producers like Timbaland, Pharrell. Just those two names
Mm,
alone.
mm-hmm.
Just those two names alone. Then you have Missy Elliott. You have Trey Songz. You have Chris Brown. You got Genuine. You have now also too. Jodeci is from, I think, Virginia and North Carolina, I
North
believe.
Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, North Carolina. So that kind of like, even with North Carolina, you have certain North Carolina artists that work with, Virginia artists, and just that kind of that, especially like I want to say, because Pharrell, I feel like Timbaland, Missy, they all from like, I think I want to say Portsmouth and like Virginia Beach. So that's like Southern Virginia. Then you have
Mm-hmm.
like right on the edge, like the Charlottes and those different areas. So you have those people kind of collabing and coming together. So it's great to see the talent, to see the different just music that comes out of the area, and then also too in DC, of course, is known for the go-go. So you have a lot of that. And I want to say this too, being in this area, I probably vaguely remember listening to go-go, but being in this area, I definitely have respect for the area. And from 19, 20 years old till now I'm 29, my early adult, life I've lived in, in this area. So I've gotten used to the culture, the atmosphere, and I appreciate the people here. We can all have difference of opinion, but wherever you at, you should be able to respect the area you in. You're gonna have bad apples. I mean, every bag is not made with perfect apples. You're gonna have those, sour ones, of those that just like, yeah, just why they here, but you still have to deal with them because you shouldn't take out your feelings or emotions on a person that you don't understand. Unless you're
Mm-hmm.
defending yourself. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's even still the law will dictate whether you defend yourself in the right way. But I appreciate this area. It means a lot. And I do want to mention about the books for anybody that may not know. All my first three books, well, my first two books, they have acronyms, right? So Scale and Debate, my first book, and Tears. Scale and Debate stands for staying completely aware, life's everything. Debate is don't ever be afraid to explain or explore. That in all details about understanding life, understanding that you may not know your full purpose right in the moment, but just build up to it. Just take time to be better, even if it's a small thing. Oh, today, I ran an extra mile, or today I cut back on, certain carbs. That's a win. You appreciate
Mm-hmm.
tears. You have tears of joy, tears of sorrow. So around that time when I was writing that book, I lost, my grandmother and my uncle in the same month, the beginning and the end of the month. And so for myself through that period, I wanted to have something that resonated with everybody. And even with the cover art, if people pay attention to the cover art, it happened pre-COVID, which is very ironic. Tears. I told myself when I was writing, I was like, tears, like nothing really bad happening in the world right now. Ain't nothing super major that's affecting everybody. So I was like, but maybe, this would be something just to help people in their everyday life. So tears stand for tearing everything away, rebuilding strength. You know, so that entails meaning that no matter what happens to you, don't give up on yourself. And also to stop looking at people who you're seeking validation from to say you're doing
Mm-hmm.
better. What you should do is find something positive, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, whatever your social media platform is. If you fill your mind with poison, you're going to be looking for an antidote at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need to take a diet from social media too, so that way they can decompress. You're decompressing your body
Yes.
with other things you're doing, and you're trying to eat right. So if you're going to eat right, you have to also cleanse your mind.
That's right. And I don't think, we're so addicted to social media now. I don't think a lot of us understand, you know, the toxic stuff that we are consuming, that you do need to step away from it from time to time. Just listening to you talk from the beginning to you're just such an old soul, just such an old soul. I truly, truly appreciate. I just love, my grandmother had told me when she was living that she always tries to stay connected to young people because the mindset kept her young. And now, that I'm walking into this season of life, I truly understand what she says. And I try to just really, I love being around young folks and hearing what y'all got to say, and especially the ones that are doing positive things and, trying to make their mark on this world. And I'm really happy and I'm really proud. And if nobody says it to you today or tomorrow, Lana is proud of you. You keep on pushing forward. To all the guys in your circle, touch them and push them forward and wish them the best. And I'm just so happy. Dear, we are, this 30 minutes, I keep on saying, I say the same thing over and over again. I'm like a broken record that I'm going to extend these interviews to be longer than 30 minutes because it goes so fast. But I'm at the point now, I want to do my random question, and then I want you to tell everybody how they check out the podcast and how they pick up the books. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So let's see what we got.
All right.
See what we're gonna get here. All righty. See, to tell you how old I am, I gotta do like this, right?
That's all good.
If your waiter or waitress was a total jerk, would you still leave a tip?
That's tough. That's a tough one. Now, if this was a couple years ago, I probably wouldn't leave it. But I would if I didn't have the conversation with the person and tell them, you have to have the conversation with them, because if you do end up giving a person a tip that has done bad service, you have something going on, you're all right. And they say if they explain why they're feeling the way they're feeling, you can say,
at home sick, or my husband. Go. I understand.
Yeah. So now if they're just rude and they just seem like they don't want to just serve myself or the company that I have, then I'm not gonna leave it to be honest with you, because I feel like if I'm coming in and I'm not badgering you or making you feel bad that you're working and I'm enjoying the services that you're providing, then you shouldn't be taking that out on me, because you're still coming to work. But I wouldn't leave a tip if it was just egregious, service. I couldn't do that.
Gotcha. Understood. Good point there. You got to check and see if they got something going on before you make that decision. Good point. So Elijah, I just love saying that because, like I said, I study all different types of things, so I know where the name comes from. So Elijah, please tell us how we connect with the podcast and how we pick up the books.
Okay, so as far as the podcast, you can find us on the Anchor app, and you can find us on all streaming platforms. Okay. Our latest show, Rob of Innocence, is also on YouTube. It's under my page, Elijah Ivry, so you can find that one. And that specific one we did because we felt like the way to, help the next generation is to start with the roots of today, which is the children of today. So that's also on YouTube. The Mind of Ivry podcast is also on all streaming platforms. So that's the Anchor app. Well, that's not the Anchor app. That's iTunes, Spotify, and any streaming platform. Let me see what else. My YouTube page is Elijah Ivry. So it's my first name, last name, ElijahIvry. Not Isaiah, not Ezekiel. It's Elijah Ivry. You can find me on YouTube. And then I guess for social media, right? Social media. Okay, social media, Facebook is Elijah Ivry, not Ezekiel. Elijah Ivry. My Instagram is mind_of_Ivry29. And again, that's mind_of_Ivry29. You can find me on Instagram. I have TikTok. My TikTok is Music Mind Ivry. So you can find me on TikTok. And if you on Instagram, you'll see my TikTok tag. So you can find me on there as well. And let me see. And Snapchat. Yeah,
I was gonna say everybody needs to check out your TikToks because I love dancing, and I love music, so you do both of those things. But you need to check out his TikToks because he does the side by side things, and I that's entertaining. But go ahead, you said Snapchat. Go ahead.
And then Snapchat is my Snapchat name is Flash. It's me 29. And I believe that's all my social media platforms.
All right. And I'll have all the links below. So we are at the end, Elijah. And I like that you tell everybody not Ezekiel, because that's two different people, two different names, two different meanings. Elijah, we are at the very end of today's chat today. Like I told you, it's quick and painless. So don't bite, just two people getting to know each other. So, hopefully it wasn't so bad for you, right?
No, I really enjoyed this. I've been telling everybody about it. Yeah, I told them it means a lot because when I posted the podcast last week with Anthony, and then you reached out to me, I checked the Twitter and I was just, because sometimes you can get spam. So I was like, let me check it out. Then I also checked your page out, because also too, as you probably would do, you want to vet people. You don't want to have certain people on your platform that later on you're like, oh man, this is a great episode, but now they turn out to be this person, this monster, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, my brand is kind of tainted from that. So I checked everything out. I was like, wow. I was like, we're kind of in that same realm. And I was like, that's pretty great. I like what you have going on. And a lot of people, I reposted some of your quotes, and a lot of people, they enjoyed it, they liked it. So I like, oh yeah, this is great, because I wanted to show my appreciation for you as well, for finding me and giving me this opportunity. So I appreciate you, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We all got it. We got to all be in this melting pot together and get it done and spread this love and positivity and get people to grow and be their best self. And whatever little piece we do, we got to do it. So, I'm just glad for the connection. Well, Elijah, I wish you, the company that you keep, your purpose, I wish you nothing but blessings and success as you move forward. And I thank you for making time for me today.
Thank you for having me on. It means a lot.
That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time. Oh.